yesterday I finally got around to trying staring into a black mirror. I always wanted to try it. I had one. I made one. It's easy. I wanted to buy one first, but to be honest, I find they're rather expensive for a small one. And yeah, I wanted one out of obsidian glass first. But in the end, all you really need is a black background with a reflective surface. So I didn't get one, and I made one myself from an old picture frame. This experience was intense. I didn't expect it to have that result so fast. Now, I didn't do anything particular or try anything. I just did the basic scrying exercise to stare into it and focus on the point here in your reflection with a candle next to it and see if your face disappears and reappears. And it did. It did. Now, I didn't do any ritual or ceremony or burn incense or any of that fluff. I just put a candle next to them on both sides and stared into it. Focus on this point and just stare and see if your face disappears. And it absolutely did. And you stare at that thing in the dark and your face just blacks out. Now, the frame remains visible, but your face just disappears and then reappears. And it's something else. Now, I heard or read that it's very common to see your face reappear as a lion or that it distorts into something demonic. I had neither of those things happen to me. I stared into that thing and my face blacked out and something from the darkness of that mirror started to come back, and it was an eye, just one eye, this one, and it was a cat's eye. It was very obviously a cat's eye. And then later the second one appeared and there were two cat eyes staring at me from the darkness. The reaction I had, because I tried this for around 40 minutes. And the first time it happened, I had this whoa reaction. Like you have this sinking feeling in your stomach, like shit. But because it was rather spooky, to be honest. You're sitting there in the dark and all of a sudden these cat eyes are staring at you from this. And I dropped out of that. The experience immediately went away when I had that sinking feeling in my stomach. But I tried again because I had to think to myself like, okay, now if this, I cannot let this freak me out. I would have no business being into occultism if I let this freak me out, because in the end, what you're doing in that moment, you're not really contacting an entity, or you're not really pulling an entity through this or use it as a portal. You're staring into your own subconscious, your own mind. So those thoughts went through me, so I kept trying. And I always came up with the same result. Either my face completely blacked out and I could see little lights here and there, but they didn't take up form. But when they did take up form, it was always the same. It was always two cat eyes staring at me. And the weird thing about it was, you know, the white of the eye, it seemed a bit luminescent. And then when I kept staring at it, I could see the iris around the pupil, which were cat eye, but not like, not a small slit, but you know, when they are a bit oval shaped, almond shaped, the pupil, that kind of cat eye. And the iris around it, it seemed like it was green, like my eye, but it was also turning, like there was a light inside of them that went like this. And I really didn't expect it to have this kind of result so fast. But it really amazed me, like, wow, this really works. This is not just some bullshit. And like I said, I didn't try to do anything else except just do the scrying exercise. Just the scrying exercise to see if you can make your face disappear and have it reappear. But I had no face staring at me. There was never a face, not even an outline or the suggestion of a face, just two eyes. And the way they stared at me, it was really like you would be walking through a forest in the middle of the night with a flashlight, and all of a sudden you have these eyes staring back at you. It was the weirdest experience. And like I said, the first time it happened, which was very fast, it I had this real sinking feeling in my stomach. It's rather shocking and spooky, but yeah, I didn't want to let it freak me out because I mean, curiosity. But this is something I want to maybe do a bit more often, because and the result was so striking to me, remarkable, really. And I don't want to use this thing to contact entities. I don't. I never really interested me in the first place. But whoa, to stare in your own subconscious and see the eyes of a wild animal stare back at you. Yeah. I mean, it's said that when you do this kind of exercise, you can see your own soul stare back at you. Would that imply that I have the soul of a wild animal? Maybe. I don't know. But wow, I kind of expected something to happen, but not with this intensity. I I heard or read that the most common thing was the lion face staring back at you, and I had the cat eye, so a feline eye staring back at me, but no lion face, no demon face, just two feline eyes in complete darkness, and they lit up by themselves, like just. And wow, yeah, it did produce a shock, not gonna lie. That was very interesting. Very interesting. I don't know what else to say about it. Just that it was interesting and spooky, but interesting. Mostly interesting.